This segment sponsored by Polston Tax Resolution and Accounting. She is back, my buddy Rachel Pappy, partner and vice president of Polston Tax Resolution and Accounting, here to talk about the government shutdown and your taxes. Before we jump into that, there are some things that y'all are doing as an organization to help out those government employees that are furloughed and are not getting a paycheck. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, so several years ago, Rod and I started Rod Polston Servant Heart Foundation.
Okay.
So it's a nonprofit separate from our law firm. So the law firm's Polston Tax. We started a nonprofit. We've been helping people in the community for years, and we've talked about it here. And even though, as a firm, Polston Tax fights the IRS every day, fights the federal government and intimidating taxpayers, and we defend them. These are American citizens who are really hurting right now, and so the foundation wants to reach out. We're taking requests to help federal workers right now. If anyone watching knows of somebody, they can contact Kaylee, K-A-I-L-E-Y, at polstontax.com.
I tell you what we'll do. If you give me an email, we'll make sure we put that on our website. And then people with it, they just click it and they'll send an email.
Yes, so we are helping anyone that needs help
awesome.
Right now that's furloughed and is not getting a paycheck.
Good job. Some knucks there. All right. Like hearing stuff like that, giving back, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about that government shutdown. The big deal. Everybody's talking about that. I'm worried. I think a lot of people are worried. IRS is a government organization the last time we checked, and that means there's also going to possibly be some delays. Do we need to be worried?
So the government shutdown the government called back 46,000 IRS employees last week. Okay. And so they've returned to work to try to process these tax returns that need to be processed. When you think about a refund, you think about all these millions of people across America that get a refund. What that refund is payroll taxes you've paid into the government that is a loan. The government's holding your money.
That's right.
And even if the government's shut down, they really have no right to hold on to your money that you're entitled to. So a couple things I want everyone to remember is, even though the government is shut down, you do still need to file your tax return. It's not due till April 15th, but tax filing season opens early before that. File the tax return on time. If you can't file, you still have to file an extension even if the government's shut down. And the fourth quarter estimated tax payment is due.
For companies? For
companies, for self-employed individuals, for anyone who gets 1099 income, you still have to make that. The online EFTPS system is still working, so make those payments online. You can't go in person to the IRS office. Those are all closed, but you do still need to be compliant. That's the important thing.
Did you just mention TPS reports? I think of Office Space when I hear TPS reports. All right.
I love that movie.
All right, it's a great movie. All right, let's talk about, should you file earlier? Is that going to help you out? And then also, there's been a lot of tax changes this year too. Is that going to be, I mean, it sounds like that's going to be coupled together. Could cause some problems, or?
There's a lot of tax changes. With the tax changes, you'll probably see more of the ramifications of that in a few years as those returns start to get audited. But with we always recommend filing as early as possible. A lot of the agencies who usually tackle the fraud that happens right now with early filing by people who are using your social security number or using your identity. A lot of identity theft happens. The agencies that usually combat that are not funded. And so it's going to be more prevalent than ever that people are going to be filing fraudulent returns because the agencies that usually are fighting that are not funded.
Do we know if the IRS answering machine has been furloughed? Because it seems like that's the only person we get to talk to sometimes when we call the IRS. Will there be somebody there to answer phone calls?
Yeah, so on our cases, we're calling the Department of Justice. We get a message that says, due to funding, I'm not in the office. Collections is also just you're getting the hold music. You do need to be compliant. A lot of our clients are facing problems like if they were levied before the shutdown happened. They have no right to appeal right now. I mean, they should be having appeal rights, but they can't because the government's shut down, so it's closed.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to run across those things. The great thing about when you hire Polston out is that you guys handle all that stuff for us, and you'll listen to the great Michael Bolton music on hold and that sort of thing. One final thing, we got to talk about the cannabis industry here. There are a little bit of changes going on there. Can you quickly tell us about that?
Yeah, same thing with cannabis. A lot of people Cannabis deals mostly in cash because they can't open a bank account,
Right.
because bank accounts are secured by federal funds, and it's illegal at the federal level, legal at the state level. So what the cannabis industry has been doing is going in person to make estimated tax payments with cash. They can't go in person because those offices are shut down and they still need to be federally compliant. So at least send in a check or a cashier's check, make a copy for yourself, show that you're trying to be compliant even throughout this government shutdown, because I would anticipate the government's hitting all those people with penalties for failure to file, failure to pay, failure to make estimated tax payments, even though they couldn't walk in with their cash to
Rachel
do it.
Pappy, one of the only people I know, when she did the 10-year challenge on Facebook, looks absolutely the same she did 10 years ago. Polston Tax Resolution in the county. They have 4 metro locations. They have a new address in Oklahoma City. It's the same one for Norman, Tulsa, and Wichita. Call them at 405-801-2146. They also assist clients nationwide. You can get in contact with them on social media. Just look for Polston Tax. And of course, their website is polstontax.com.